Hello to you. We are live on YouTube like every night. Come in, join the live chat, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, add your voice. Let me know what you want to talk about because every night I take live comments. Sometimes people want to tell me about they're going through a breakup. A person they were infatuated, obsessed about, in love with is going to totally change their world. Their heart's getting ready to broke. Their heart's getting ready to break. They're listening to sad songs, drinking alcohol, and smoking cigarettes, and they don't know if their life will ever have happiness again. You know, some people reach out and they leave a comment that their life is in financial ruin and they're thinking about living a simplified life. Some people want to talk about politics. Some people want to talk about Bitcoin, investments, and some people just want to hear me ramble. But what I try to do is I think of what's on my spirit first to share one specific topic. Then we take all live comments. And what I'm thinking about today is something I thought about often, which is, will you feel joy again? You know, when I was young and I was getting ready to change my life and stop smoking cigarettes and stop hanging out with certain people and stop doing certain things, I kind of asked myself, if I stop smoking cigarettes, if I stop drinking and hanging out, will I feel joy again? Because I kind of enjoyed going out to the bar, strip club, and smoking or drinking. And I was never like really in a bad space, but I felt it was time to change my life. But I asked myself that question: if I change my life, will I be as happy? Because I look forward. At that time, I looked forward to going to the strip club on the weekend. I looked forward to having a pack of Newports. I looked forward to drinking Corona. So if I take that away from my life, will I ever be happy again? And the answer is yes. I eventually is the key word. As I separated from that from a long enough period of time and I went back and forth, I evolved, I adapted, and I got new, better habits, and I'm happier than I've ever been in certain ways. And I ask myself that in relationships. There's been a couple bad breakups I've had that I felt after I break up with this person and it gets to the point of no return, I'm devastated because I realize it's so permanent that if I don't have them in my life, will I ever feel that joy again? And at times it felt like I wouldn't. But as I stayed separated from them and eventually kept moving forward, I did find joy again. Now, it took me a while. Some breakups took me a couple years to fully get over. Gambling, risky investments. I did that for a while, and I said, man, if I can't do this, I don't want to just be a working stiff and not have any opportunity to like make it really, really big. If I don't do this anymore, will I feel joy? And I struggled with that for a while, but I did. I just did the boring thing. You just save and you just work and you evolve though. You do gain your passion back again. You do gain your joy back again. And you look at life a little bit different. But you're going to struggle with that question whenever you separate yourself from something that you feel like if you separate from it, you're never going to feel joy because you live for it. You live for the cigarettes and alcohol on the weekend. You live for that relationship, to see that person and to think about them in your life. You live for the risk. You live for the roll of the dice. You live for the stock ticker. You live for whatever is killing you. You live for whatever is killing you. And you know it's killing you, but you haven't come to the point that you're ready to live without it. Does everyone get to the point in their life that they can live without the thing that is killing them? I don't know. I think that's different for everyone in my experience. I've seen some people that still struggle with the very thing that's killing them. And I've learned to just observe and not judge, and I've learned to focus on myself because I realize how hard it was for me and how long it took for me. When does it happen? I think it happens when when you get to the point where you accept that this thing's over and that you acknowledge you're going to feel pain and that you keep moving. You just keep moving forward. You just keep moving. You keep putting one foot in front of the other. You keep moving. You keep moving. You keep moving. And over time, you heal, you grow, you evolve, you adapt. And so you eventually feel joy again. And, will you feel pain again? Will you feel down again? Yeah, because that's life. Life's ups and downs. But I'm really thinking and targeting, what I'm talking about is not whether you're going to feel down again. There's something in your life that's killing you. You get to a certain point that you may be all right with, certain drinking or smoking or lovers or risky things, gambling, whatever. You may be okay with it because there's certain parts of my life that I was okay with that. It didn't even bother me to do it. But it gets to a certain point when you're dealing with the thing that's really hurting you that it starts to, in your mind, it's killing you. I remember being at a state park in New Jersey, in Cape May, New Jersey, and there was a hot dog stand there, and it was like, a food truck. And there was this middle-aged woman, very well kept, working the hot dog stand, and she was nice and greeting. And I remember she was talking to a local. So she was talking to a local. They were talking about life. I don't know what they were talking about. And I heard her say that, my main vice is gambling. She goes, I know God doesn't want me to do it, but I can't stay away. But I know it's a vice. And we all have vices. So again, this is not meant to judge. And there's some people that may struggle with their vices all their life. My mom struggles with food. Food is a vice. I had one person leave a comment on one of the videos I did that people shouldn't sleep around. If you sleep around, that's wrong and that's a sin. I asked that person, do you overeat? Gluttony is one of the 7 sins. Everyone has sin. No one can cast a stone. But what I'm focusing on is that all of us get to a point that we get to a point where something is bothering us that we're doing it. We kind of know now, look, I've played with it long enough, and now I know I got to put it down. And when you get to that point, and it's different for everyone, then you got to start to really try to think about, what are you doing now, okay? Because to go forward, to fulfill your destiny, part of it is letting go of what's killing you. And it's not easy because it's a permanent burial of something. You are going to bury something in your life and you're going to form a new life. Watching a YouTuber who does a nomad life, I'm not a huge fan, but one of them who I watch from occasion, she recently lost her pet. And of course, I relate to that. I lost my dog that I have for 10 years, and it was very crushing for many reasons. And so she lost her pet, and she's been sharing about the grieving process. And so one of the things she said recurringly on her past couple videos was in therapy. She goes to a therapist once in a while. She said one thing her therapist is telling about, dealing with the grief of your dog, what you're adapting to and what you're dealing with is the new normal, your new life. When something is no longer part of your life, the cigarettes, the alcohol, the relationship, the gambling, the whatever, you're at a grieving point because you're burying your old life and you're really trying to start a new life. You're off balance for months, if not years. How long does it take to recover? 3 months to get your wind back. 3 years, I think, to make a full recovery. I dated a girl that had cancer, and she was in remission for over 5 years. And her doctor said, after 5 years, you're considered a survivor. In her 7th year, she died. So certainly you may go 5 years, you may think you have something licked, and then you may stumble. There's really no guarantee. Again, life is an art form just as much as a science. There's no really one formula, right? And a lot of times people think, I got the formula to life. There's different structural principles that you can learn, but life is a little bit of an art form. It's beauty and tragedy. But I want to address the question, then we're going to get ready to go all live comments, is In life, you're going to ask yourself that one singular question. Will you feel joy again? The answer is yes. Over time, and there will always be a scar, and you will just, new skin will grow around that scar. And I have some physical scars, so I understand. And it will just be a new life form, a new being in one sense. And so, does that help? I'm sharing my journey. And then, you take it for what it is. Okay? That's the structured topic for tonight. Now, I roll down my window so I can get some cross ventilation, and it's very nice in Florida. Praise the Lord for Florida. Okay? It's getting cold up north, and I don't miss that. And I'm going to go all into live comments. Let me take a drink real quick. Good to see everyone. Thank you for leaving a comment. Woohoo, our brother who's getting ready to head to San Diego says Sam first. Thank you. And love and respect. Good to see you. Hope you had a good day. Luke, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Loyalty means everything. That's tag name. What's up, Sam? What's going on with you? How was your day? How's everything going? Jacob. Hello there. How you doing? I'm doing good. I mean, overall, the day was positive. Look, I worked. Look, when you work, you wake up when it's dark. You spend most of the day indoors. And especially in the winter months, you get outside, you got a couple hours of daylight, and then before you know it's dark again. That's the reality of the world we live in. You will work more than you will play for most people's life. I think society is a little bit out of balance. I'm not saying that you should never have to work or be productive, but I think we're at a point in the human society, definitely in America, where we are overworked. We're overdeveloped. And I think we are just in a point in society where the almighty dollar has become God, and productivity has been, I mean, you hate to say that productivity is overused, but we're at a point now where we are just living to produce, and we're not living. We're pumping out product. We're pumping out growth, but we're missing daylight. We're missing life. It's like I remember, when I had my condo, I lived in this condo community for 15 years. And when I started to get my health together, I started walking every night. And I learned many things on my walking routine because I would bump into neighbors. And, I'm not that social, but when I would bump into neighbors, we would start to talk. And, I was a diverse area in New Jersey. So one of the guys that I bumped into on my walks was an Indian guy who came from India. He was actually only there for a couple months out of the year to visit his son. And he was an older Indian man. And he said, and we kind of kicked it off a little bit because he was in the IT business. I'm in the IT business, information technology. And he was asking me kind of like, we were talking about IT, but then he was saying, Sam, let me ask you this. He goes, what do you think is more important, efficiency or effectiveness? What is more important, being efficient or being effective? And I thought about it for a minute, and I said being effective. Because efficiency is great, but if you're very efficient but you're not effective, it doesn't matter. And he said, good answer. And in today's data analytical society, especially with IT, data is dollars. People collect data, they collect information, and then they try to make the most informed, efficient decisions based on that information. We have fell in love. We are obsessed with efficiency. And I think efficiency is great. I apply it many ways in my life. So I speak very highly and I think very highly of efficiency. But I think we have gone too far on the spectrum of efficiency. I think that in today's society, we're so focused on efficiency and productivity that we're not being effective in living a whole life. People are spending more time with their coworkers than their children because they have to survive. You know, people are spending more time on their business plan versus becoming a better person. And that's what happens. That's what happens with capitalism on steroids. Look, capitalism can be good, but it has to be balanced. Social security is socialism. Okay. There's many programs in life that are a level of socialism. Pure capitalism means everything is just about profit, nothing else matters. You can just basically walk over a dead body, and if it means your company gets profit, that's capitalism. You have to have balance. And I think we're too far. I think we need growth. I think we need productivity. I think we need efficiency. I think you need a level of incentive to keep people motivated and productive, but I think we are too far on the spectrum. And you can see it even in the country. I mean, I used to, I spent many years up, I grew up in New Jersey, but then as I got older, I spent many years in Manhattan. And let me tell you something, there's no place that's at a higher productivity, capacity, just a speed of life than Manhattan, New York City. And when I would travel south, especially when I was young, it was a whole nother pace of life. And if you ever go, like people who like they visit the Caribbean, they say, man, it's like island time. It's a whole nother, and now, I mean, I come to Florida, I go to some southern states. It still is a slower pace, but even more and more, even on the southern states, speed is picking up. And we are getting close to, more and more into this rat race. Balance is always the struggle of society. Balance is the struggle of human nature. And it's different because we're all individuals, so everyone has a different balance. But we're getting to a turning point where there's going to need to be a reset. Because there's something wrong when you have to pay someone to watch your elderly parent and you have to work to pay for your own place that you can barely afford. Everyone's getting paid to take care of the person they love, and you're spending no time with the person you love. And you can't get a decent job if you don't pay an extraordinary amount of money for a decent education, because union education, all those things are gone. Pensions gone, 401k. And so now you have to get on this capitalist rat race. You have to get a high dollar amount college loan education. You have to hope that you don't get hurt. And if you do, you better have health insurance. And you have to work a lot of hours. And if you work for a big corporation, which I do, look, there's going to be a demand. And corporations aren't bad. Business isn't bad. Productivity isn't bad. But what I'm trying to tell you is there's a life that has to be lived. And there's a part of the human being that is more than producing a paper dollar or a gold coin. I mean, especially at times, there's different pockets of America that consider themselves religious. But many people, because of the way society's structured is, you have to worship the currency. Because without it, you can't do shit. You can't take your kids out without money. And, I'm not saying we shouldn't have money, but this is the whole thing of life. I'm getting off track. I'm sorry about that. I got too far off track there. Jacob, good to see you. Luke, good to see you tonight. You too. Snow Dog, what's up, brother? Love and respect. Snow Dog, what's up, Sam? Jacob, I'm already there wanting my crush. Laugh out loud. I'm joking. I understand that. Colton. Hey, Sam. Tom, a.k.a. Tom Hanks, here on the new account. Well, Colton, Tom Hanks, and Blanton, and everyone in Boone, North Carolina. And I think they may all be one person. But Colton, if I'm saying your name right, I'm very impressed with you. You are going to be a successful person, business person, whatever person in life. I watched his YouTube video. He has a YouTube video about him presenting a video resume of himself. And he did a very great job as a young leader. Okay, people talk about young people lazy. You should watch Colton's, I think it's on his Blanton channel, a video resume that he did presenting himself to his employee. Not lazy, not sitting there. He had the courage to do a video resume, even if it was for college, and it was for college. And he presented himself well. Now, do I know him in real life? Is that I don't know. But all I know is at least that was good. Okay? And I want to encourage that young man that he has what it takes. And I want to encourage you, Colton, when you become successful, you remember that it's not about just making a lot of money and leaving the rest of society behind. Do your thing, make your money, don't feel guilty, but remember where you come from. Remember who you were in college when you didn't have 2 pots to piss in and you were playing drinking games and you were masturbating to free porn. Remember that when you're in a conference room and they're getting ready, to think about, we got to be more efficient. How can we maximize productivity? And how am I going to talk to somebody? Am I going to talk to somebody the same way I talked to them when I did my video resume on YouTube? Or now am I a little cocky because I just got a promotion? Now am I a little bit cocky because, I made it this far in life? That's a tough thing to resist. But Colton, I want to encourage you, brother. Don't let this world change you. And that's to everyone out there. And there's been times in my life, even I had to catch myself. You can catch yourself. This world will change you. You understand what I'm saying? This world will change you. And if you're not careful, not for the good. You won't be that same person that dressed up on Halloween. Today is Halloween. This morning, I woke up at like 5 a.m. like I always do. 5:30 a.m. I went into Dunkin' Donuts. And like the girl, and it was a hot girl too. She was like, I went to Dunkin' Donuts. And the person behind the cash register was like, had her head turned around. So I didn't see her. She had on like a dress, like a short dress. And I was like, damn, she dressed up today in Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Dunkin' Donuts got a poppin' today. I don't even realize what day it is. And then so she turned around. She got like all this like crazy death makeup on because Halloween. I was like, oh shit. Like she had like blood on her face. I was like, what the hell's going on? I thought I was in Armageddon. And then come to find out, oh, she goes, happy Halloween. I go, oh shit, it's Halloween. I totally forgot because I don't have kids. I'm not like, buying candy anymore. So I was like, oh my God, like I forgot it was Halloween. But first I'm looking at it like, she's hot. Why is she wearing that young dress? Why is she wearing that short dress in Dunkin' Donuts? She was just dressed up. But it made me laugh. I don't know where I was going with that, but that was a side story. Good job. Luke, today sucked. I left a job I just got because I just realized the type of manager she was and just saw there was no future with the company as long as she was the manager over me. Well, Luke, I understand. I've certainly felt that. There may be one job that I left a little bit early, so I can relate and I can sympathize and empathize. But there's been way more jobs that I stood it out even with bad managers. All I could say is I understand, brother. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel bad. You pick yourself back up, but you got to get back out there. You got to get back out there. The longer you stay out of the workforce, the harder you're going to make it for your life. And then you're going to question your own self-confidence. So do not beat yourself up. You can't go backwards now. Okay. You got to put that behind you, but I'm here to encourage you. God bless you. And I'm here to encourage you that just get back out there. The longer you stay away from it, the more it's going to mess in your mind. And so get back out there. I don't care what it is. I delivered pizzas. I painted house, whatever you have to do to stay out in the workforce, especially when you're young. Because, the answer, to get reform in this world, you have to be working towards the solution. You can't it doesn't work by you just stopping participating, because that's when you don't have the credibility to change the system. You have to be engaged in the system unless it's a completely sham. And it's not a complete sham. There's problems, but you have to be engaged in it in some form. I'm not saying you have to take a job that doesn't treat you well, but I'm saying get back out there, because I certainly don't want to start to encourage people, look, just don't do anything with your life. That's not wisdom, and that's not proper. You have to get back out there and you figure it out. You're okay, and go forward. Ice Thesis. Sup, Sam? An essay on do you think politics would... Sup, Sam? I have an essay on do you think politics would people be more united? I think so. Without politics, there'll always be politics. Always be politics. It doesn't matter if you have like a politician or whatever. There's politics and everything in life. As soon as you add money to the equation, there's politics, okay? As soon as you add human nature to the picture, it's politics. Um, in church, politics. There's money involved, politics. So you're never going to avoid that. It'd be disingenuous and it'd be one of those. That's where I don't like college and that's where I don't like school. They try to make you mind fuck life. Like, oh, what if you. No. There's always going to be a need for reform. Even if you pass good reform, it could go too far the other way. Where, so you have to, again, balance. But I'm not going to try to tell you, and no matter what you do in this world, it's never going to be perfect. So we have to get past that illusion that we're going to have harmony and doves singing and peace to the world. It's never going to be that, but we are here not to be cynical, but to be part of a solution to make the world, the country, society better. Because society, the country, the world has gotten better over the course of the last 1,000 to 100 years. We are better today than we were 100 years ago. We are way better today than we were 1,000 years ago. Why? Because you add value to a society, and you change it, you reform it. And even when you do that, it won't be perfect, but you live your life as you do it. So don't get consumed with politics. I mean, I add my voice, but I still have to walk the beach. I mean, I work, but I still want to see sunlight. I mean, that's the thing. We're out of balance. I mean, again, you're going to wake up, it's dark. You're going to go in an office most of the day, whether it's Starbucks or in a corporate office. It's going to be dark. You're going to see fluorescent lights. Then you're going to rush home in traffic or whatever you're going to do. And you're going to go. And next thing you know, you got an hour of sunlight. And your whole life is like pumping out efficiency. You're producing, you're pumping out the factory product, whatever it is, software or muffins. You're producing something, but you're not effective in living. And so you have to be conscious of, are we at a point in society where it's just all about produce the beast that is capitalism and don't live? But we have to obviously be conscious of, it's not about, like, having no politics. You got to have politicians. You got to have, you got to have everything in life. Everything plays a part. Everything's a counterbalance. But you have to, that's it. I mean, I don't want to mind fuck it either. That's what I feel. Gilbert, Sammy, Queens in the house. Love and respect to the Q Borough. Luke. And Luke says, so I am praying and actively seeking good. I like that. Other options. But it definitely was a disappointment today. It's understandable. But I got to keep positive. One foot in front of the other. I totally understand. I've been there. Colton, can't stay. Got 2 tests to study for. I'm not mad at that. Gonna watch this one later, though. Thank you, Colton. Love and respect, brother. Keep doing you. Luke, I'm just trying to be optimistic and find all the positive aspects of life. So today, even though I was beat down, it's understandable, emotional, tried looking for other ventures and opportunities. There you go. Good. I mean, look, you are going to be beat down for several weeks. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been there. You will feel joy again. You will feel joy again. You're going to be beat down for a little bit, but you just got to keep moving. How do you find your joy? Just keep moving. You may be beat down for the next 3 months, but you're going to get better. Just keep moving one day at a time. You're okay. Live and let live. Says, hey, Sam. It's been a minute. Yeah, I remember your name. So good to see you and catch you live. And then she gave me a couple of smileys. Thank you. Icethesis. I just finished a 5-page essay, and it was on politics and my own personal views, and some of our views correspond, but some don't. That's life. Yeah, that's always going to be life. And you're going to have some views that you have today that you don't have 10 years from now. And it's going to always evolve. So, again, that's all part of life, and that's part of society. Thank you for sharing. Bland. Nomad is straight up. I love it. He tells you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Don't agree with you on everything, Nomad, but I respect the same and find joy in your wisdom. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, this is life. I mean, thank you. And you see several people don't agree with me on everything, and I don't agree with them on everything. It's both, right? So it's not like, not everyone's going to agree with you, and you're not going to agree with everyone on everything. That's life. That's part of what makes us a society where we all add something. Yeah, so that's just part of life. That's part of life. Good job. Thank you. John Suttles. Great. Insight, Sam. Be good, my friend. Good to see you, John. Love, respect. Isis. Capitalism was invented by a famous Scottish thinker, Adam Smith, during the European entitlement. What I have, thank you for adding that, Isis. I'd have to research that. I don't know enough about that, but that's a good point. I'm going to research that. Thank you. I did look up today, when was paper money invented? It was basically invented in China, I think in like 900 BC or something like that. And the Europeans didn't adopt printed money until like the 17th century. And it was basically just a stamp, again, to represent some type of currency to exchange a good for. Gilbert, funny, this being your topic. I just told myself this morning that my joy is in me and no one except me. Keep it from me. So I say yes. We will always find our joy if we just stay true to ourselves. Thank you, Gilbert. I love you, brother. Look, your joy is elusive. Happiness is elusive. Love is elusive. I always share with you guys, look, there's going to be days you're not going to want to live. And there's going to be days you're going to be super inspired. Again, I can't give you like a fake answer, like, you just do this one thing and you're going to always be happy. You're not. Even if you had basic income, no one will ever be 100% happy. But I do believe in basic human dignity. Okay. So that's why I believe in certain basic human dignity for basic empowerment. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, it's just about moving, keeping moving. When you're in severe doubt, just go for a walk. If you have the ability to walk, when you're in severe doubt, I would just say go for a walk. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Daddy Geek, Sammy, you are definitely on point tonight. Thank you, Daddy Geek. Love, respect. Love the way you share your heart straight up and to the point. Love and admire you. Same to you. So blessed to have you in my life. You continue to inspire me. Thank you, Daddy Geek. I got your Instagram message, and I have a USB drive, I think, in my safety deposit box. And I know you asked for a copy of my book. So when I get to my safety deposit box, and if I find that my book on a soft copy, I'll forward it to you. Thank you for all your love and support. If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, it's the word inspire _ the number 38. The word inspire _ number 38. Apathy. Hey, Sam, I don't see it as rambling. You call things as you see them, and you seem like a realist. It's refreshing. So many people pretend to be someone they're not, so they just fit in. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There's certainly been times in my life where I've said things to fit in, or I've acted a certain way. I mean, you go through different seasons, and you develop yourself. And just being a straight shooter is not enough. Because there's plenty of people that I've met that are straight shooters. So you got to find, again, that balance. You have to be a direct person, but you also have to, I'm still growing in this area, that you have to be direct, but you also have to be empathetic. You got to understand that not everyone has what you have. So, you gotta be empathetic. I mean, I always say, like, now you can't be too kind, because I understand people will abuse your kindness. So I'm not for just being Mr. Softy Pants, but you gotta have empathy. I often say, like, sometimes people ask me, what's the number one thing I learned in life, and from who? It's my mother, and it's empathy. If you don't have that, you don't have shit in this world. I don't care. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how great you make the economy. I don't care how much money you can produce from a capitalist system. If you don't have empathy, you don't have shit. If you don't have love in your heart for human dignity and for the people that are hurting and for less, I'm not with you. And I'll never be with you. Because to me, that's the essence. There's more than that. And we don't have to agree on everything, but that foundation has to be somewhat there. And that's my foundation. And that's what I believe in. Isis, the 5% definitely control the 95%. But how do we change it? The system has to be totally reformed. You have to have basic regulation. You have to have basic income, basic healthcare, basic regulation on services and goods. You have to have the stock market tied to profit sharing for every citizen. The stock market has to be tied for profit sharing of every citizen. Every citizen pays taxes that creates infrastructure, electrical grid, sewer systems. Businesses operate under that infrastructure. Any business doing any publicly traded company operating off public funds, private investors, doesn't matter. If the stock market's going to exist and it got bailed out in 2006 by the taxpayers, okay, or the stock market would have collapsed, okay? So from now on, in addition to the other basic reforms, there's companies, Delta Air Force, they have it. Or at least they did have it. I dated a stewardess that worked for Delta, the airline, and there's profit sharing. So now for every citizen, there is going to be stock market sharing. Every time the stock market goes up, a percentage of the profit goes to each citizen, okay? We are now going to be tied in, united, not just in rhetoric, in actual currency. We're united. Okay, so we want to see companies do good because now every citizen gets a percentage of when the stock market goes up. Instead of you hearing some politician talk about the stock market go up, when you lost 30 to 40% of your retirement, you took it out in 2008. Now your husband's working as a janitor, you're smoking cigarettes, and your mother-in-law is living with you. I stayed in a community and that happened. And people kept bragging about how the stock market go up, and all the people that got hurt, they felt devastated, and they felt like it was a spike in their face to say the stock market keeps going up. And it was a disgrace, a national disgrace. It wasn't a national disgrace that somebody didn't stand up for the anthem. It's a national disgrace that we worship money more than we care about our fellow citizens. It's a disgrace. And that's going to change. It'll take time. And if it doesn't change, do what I'm doing. Still work. So I don't want to hear crap from anybody because I've worked since I could legally work and I never stopped. And I pay my taxes and I abide by the laws. And I have no criminal record. Unlike people that were in the presidential cabinet. Unlike a lot of politicians. So I don't want to hear it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that I'm not practicing what I preach. And so that's what it is. Good job. That's how we change it. Data Geek, much love and respect to you also. Data Geek. Hello, Sammy. I'm not Data Geek. I'm sorry. Andy G. Hey, Sammy. Hello, everyone. Love and respect. Andy, good to see you, brother. Let's stay positive and let's take a hydration break. Facts are, for human survival, you need a few things. You need air, oxygen. You need water. Water is more important than food. You can go weeks, sometimes months, without food to live. Now, I'm not saying you should, but the human body can go weeks without food and still live and thrive. The human body cannot go weeks without water. Water is essential for life. Stay hydrated. Air, oxygen, water, rest, and shelter are the essence of what you need to survive. Remember that. Good job. FM gave me a lot of magical, spooky Halloween emojis. Happy Halloween, Sam. Damn, somebody give me like the skirt emoji for that girl from Dunkin' Donuts who's wearing a short skirt and like kind of celebrated Halloween in a sexy way. Now, is Halloween a holiday that girls can dress up a little bit slutty and not get judged for it? Yeah, and I like that. Good job. Halloween, Ghostbusters, and all bunch of stuff. Thank you, FL. Ice Jesus. I get yelled at for expressing restructure for taxes and healthcare. And I know if a person got hit by a bus, they would want healthcare rather than losing all their savings. Definitely. If someone is a wealthy stock investor, if there is a flash crash and all of a sudden a stock sporadically because of a circuit breaker, because of a cyber problem, if it goes down 50% and they're squeezed out of their margin percent, they will beg for the FCC, they will beg for the government to get their money back. And after years of all they've done to make money is invest, and now they have no resume and they lost all their money in the stock market, they would beg for universal health care and assistance. Beg, but until until their brokerage account goes zero, capitalize the fuck off the system. That's how society works. Good job. Jacob, I needed to hear this today. Good, thank you. And keep up the great work. Thank you, Jacob. Same to you, brother. Ice thesis. People get hate for going against what turns the heel of life. That's why MLK, I believe that stands for Martin Luther King, had to basically get an army to march on Washington to prove a point, and still got killed because of the oppression of blacks aided whites for money. Yeah, I mean, look, any rights, civil rights, women's rights, workers' rights, it's all proven that you have to put pressure on the government, on the powers to be, not just the government, powers to be, because there are lobbyists every day paid by corporations to put pressure on the government. Why? To pass laws in their favor, not to anything else. Because why? Lobbyists are paid by corporations. Corporations exist for one reason: profit. That's it. One reason. Not that's it. Yes, they create jobs. Yes, it's helpful, but they create jobs. Society. We have to remember we're the majority. The regular person, not the 1%, not the 3 people. I just Googled it. There's Bernie Sanders did a tweet. There's 3 people that own 50% basically of the bottom. The 50% lowest people in the economic scale don't have as much money as Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates. 3 people own more than the bottom 50%. That's wrong. That's wrong, because Warren Buffett wouldn't survive a day so I'm not saying people shouldn't be wealthy, but even Trump said it. When he got elected, he said it to Boeing, which is a defense contractor that gets paid billions by the government. He said they can still make jets, but they can't make them for as much money. That's socialism, right? Because he's intervening in a private company and telling them, we're not going to do this. You have to make it for less money. That's what we need to do for the common worker, not just for a defense contract, okay? And not just for a propaganda campaign. But before we get to all that, basic healthcare, basic income, and basic dignity, okay? And then we'll build from there. And guess what? The world won't stop spinning. We'll be fine. Europe has basic healthcare. So does Canada, and they're doing great. Data Geek. I was struggling with work issues, but through reading and friends like you, I now have more inner strength to see things through. Thanks so much for your honest passion about life's challenges. Thank you, Data Geek. Love. ISIS. I read that. Data Geek. So glad I found your channel. Well, I'm glad to have you. Believe me, you guys mean a lot to me too. Thank you. Joe G. Hey, Joe. Hey, Sam. Do you have any advice on how to ask my boss for a raise? All employees get a slight raise every year, but I would like a bonus I feel I deserve. Well, I heard somebody in Starbucks today talking about, wow, they were looking at their payroll and they said, wow, this person's really underpaid. And then the person that was there with them and said, oh, should we give them a raise? Like, no, don't give them a raise now. Wait until their yearly review. Then we'll bump them up 3%. Which, if you get a 3% raise in today's society, all that does is keep you up with inflation, because that's basically what inflation's running at right now, 2 to 3%. So if you get a 3% raise, not actually getting a raise, all you're doing is keeping up with inflation. Next year, Social Security go up the highest it ever went, 2.8%. All it's doing is keeping up with inflation. So be mindful of that. The time to ask for a raise, there's 2 times. One is at your yearly review. Most companies have a yearly review. At that time, what you need to do is present everything you've done in the past 12 months that has added value to your company and helped your company grow. The other time is you give an ultimatum. And you got to be very careful on the second time. That you say, look, this is what you feel you've earned under these examples that you give. And if you can't give it, then I would already have another job lined up. I would never make an ultimatum that you're going to leave your job unless you had another one lined up. But those are the only 2 times. But that's what you would have to do. And Simply Seminole left a comment. She basically said she gave her job her notice and then they offered her more money. It's just like when you leave a relationship. Like sometimes, they don't really care about you until you're ready to leave. But you can't be bluffing when you're ready to leave. You got to be ready to leave. In the beginning of each year, what I do is I get a calendar. In my Outlook email, I create a calendar called whatever year it is, 2018. And during the course of that year, when I do different achievements, when I close certain accounts, or when I complete certain tasks, or when I get a certain acknowledgement from a higher corporate officer or something, I put that email, I put that project, I put that in this folder that I create, this 2018, I call it 2018 bonus folder. And in 2019, when I get my yearly reviews, it's the first quarter of 2019, I get reviewed for 2018. So when I sit down, like I don't try to think about, all right, well, what do I do to earn a raise? No. Because believe me, they ain't going to just give you a raise. If anything, all they're going to do is give you keep up with inflation raise, which is 1% to 2%, maybe 3%, maybe. So when I'm up for review, I don't have to think about it. I have everything in a folder for 12 months, the different projects and acknowledgments that I've got, and I lay them out. And I bullet point, and when you do a self-assessment, usually there's some type of company structure that you have to adhere to. All right, what did you do to produce revenue? And then you have to give an example. What did you do to create efficiencies? What did you do to create a culture of communication in your department? You understand what I'm saying? So I got all these different examples. I mean, I'm good at organizing and kind of like, the gift of gab. So I understand how to organize it. So that's my gift, but this is what you'd have to do in a basic form. And I prove facts, because believe me, I had to fight for everything I got. Even bosses that like me, because your boss, what they do is they work for somebody else, and they're given a bucket every year. My boss even told me, because he knows who I am. He says, Sam, every year, you know what it is. I get a bucket. I know because I've been in his position. They get a bucket of money that they have to distribute to the people under them, their direct reports. And so they can give a higher percentage bucket to somebody who gets a higher rating, but there's still only so much money to go around. So you have to justify why you're going to be one of the people that get a bigger percentage of that bucket because you've done more for the company. And so that's part of you selling yourself. And that's part of what this society is based on. I mean, it's part of capitalism. There's no basic bottom that you have to sell yourself. So, but I would only do it in those two circumstances. Either you're ready to leave your job and you have another one lined up and you're going to go in there with an ultimatum, or two is you're at your yearly review and you have actual data, you have actual evidence, you have actual facts to prove that you have been an asset to your company, and here are the examples. Not just going there, well, look, I've been a good guy. You even said it. You can't do that. You got to have examples of actual business transactions. And you have to have a clear perspective on what you want to ask for. Do you want a 5% raise? Do you want a 10% raise? You have to break it down in percentage. You can't go, all right, I make $40,000 now. I want to make $65,000. I mean, you gotta understand you're not going to double your salary. To get more than a 10% raise on average, you're going to have to leave companies. I've done that. Unless you're getting a new position, because your position only has a salary range of so much. Like if you're a software engineer, the salary range for that position, depending on where you live, it may be 80 to 100,000, or whatever it is. It all depends on your region. So if you're making 90,000 and the salary range is between 80 to 100, you can't go in there and say I want a $150,000 raise. Because the top range is 100,000. So you have to understand, and you can Google most of those data analytics, like on Indeed.com and Glassdoor, and you can see what a salary range is on basic average for your area, for your position. And certainly, look, if you work at Starbucks, I mean, there's a certain range, but you can Google all those statistics too. So you have to know the information. Information knowledge is your weapon and presenting yourself. So you have to know what you do. You have to know the salary range for your title, for your job description. And then you have to have evidence to back up that you should be on the higher end of that range. And then if you don't get the higher end of that range, are you willing to make the decision that you have another job lined up and you'll leave? That's how you have to handle it. That's the only way to handle it. Everything else is just a bunch of bullshit. Good job. Apathy. So sorry, Sam, about losing your girlfriend to cancer. Well, she wasn't my girlfriend, but thank you. I appreciate that. I have had cancer. He says about himself. I am almost 10 years out, but I know it can always come back. I try to be in the moment. I'm not a survivor, just lucky for now. Apathy. Good comment, brother. Jacob, I'm sorry, brother. Let me just wipe this sweat off. I'm sweating. You guys got me all excited. Good job. There's somebody coming out with frozen yogurt. I'm not mad at that. Jacob, what job do you do and what are the requirements of it? I'm trying to figure out what to do with existence. I am a capacity manager for an IT company. So I started my career as an electrician. I have my own electrical contracting business. I had a nonprofit, which, wasn't about business, but it was a nonprofit. So, but my career, I was an electrician. Then I had my own electrical contracting business. Then I got into like a junior facility engineer role for a IT firm. IT stands for information technology. And then I got into like a lead electrical position to oversee a couple buildings. And then recently I got into a capacity manager role where I manage the capacity for different IT infrastructure for things all around the world. That's what I do. I see. The elementary school playtime was 20 minutes while work was 20. Very interesting. Zakia, sup? It's dark when I get out of work. Yeah, it's nasty. Dark when I leave. Oh, you're in Alaska. That's right. I remember that movie with Al Pacino when he went to go solve that crime. It was dark all the time. Oh, no, it's light all the time. Because I believe in Alaska, 6 months out of the year, it's like light 16 hours out of the day, and then it's dark 16 hours out of the day. I can never live there, but love and respect. I'm listening to in the background while I work now. Yep, I'm not mad at that. I love you, Zakia. MTAF. Have you ever thought of living off the grid? I live off the grid now. I don't pay for any electrical bill. I've been for 2 years. I don't have any electrical bill. I don't have any sewer bill. Planet Fitness, $21.37 a month. I don't have any electricity. I'm not on the grid right now. Drank a beer on an island today. Thank you, God, for Florida. I'm not mad at that. I love Florida. Good job. Academia. Thanks for the video. Academia. Love and respect to my brother out in Spain, I believe. I'm not sure, but he's a teacher. Good man. Got a good sense of humor. Smart guy. Good to see you, man. Apathy. It's not just about collecting data. I think a lot of people collect friends. It's called Facebook. Look, social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it can all be used in a positive way. Everything is about how you use it. It can be used in a negative way. And there's going to be times where you fail. So when you're really in doubt with social media, just unfollow everyone. And you don't have to unfriend them necessarily, but just unfollow them and then only check in when you feel like checking in. That's what I learned to do. Good job. Good fellow Soprano. I appreciate your honesty, bro. Well, thank you. Shout out to the movie Sopranos, which was about a certain part of the Italian culture in New Jersey, mafia culture, which was evident and existed. Not so much anymore. And what I can tell you is if you think Mexican gangs were bad, if you think ISIS was bad, try the mafia, okay? Italian-American terrorist group, okay, that they believe killed JFK, okay? So I don't remember them calling for all Italians to not be allowed in this country because most Italians were good and hardworking. But if we had a president that took the 1% of Italians who were mafia controlled, and he probably wouldn't because he probably did real estate business deals with them. So what I'm here to tell you is follow the money. Follow the money. Good job. Mel, at the heart of all addictions is some form of trauma. In most cases, trauma occurs in development stages of our life. These traumas motivate us to seek out extreme feelings of sensations. Agree? Let me read that again because it's a very, I got to read that again to take this. I got to read it. She says, at the heart of all addictions is some form of trauma. In most causes, trauma occur in development stages of life. These traumas motivate us to seek out extreme feelings of sensation. Okay, I got it. Yes and no. Yes, to the point where we are overwhelmed with our feelings, because if you can become overwhelmed with your feelings, and that's trauma. You can become overwhelmed with a physical pain, and that's trauma. Some type of, you can get abused, that's trauma. There's many different types of trauma. Watching a rape abduction movie over and over again is trauma. Watching a horror movie over and over again, that's mental trauma. Watching a YouTube video of people fighting in the street, hurting each other, that's trauma. You can cause trauma in many ways. And yes, to counteract that emotion, we need a spike in another emotion. So you can do a drug to numb the trauma. I know some people who can't work because they get overwhelmed with all the pressure, and to counteract that trauma of all the pressure at work, they do drugs. So yes, I believe it's real, but I believe also you have to be mindful of eventually you can't make yourself the victim, because trauma also kind of equivalates to there's a victim. But there is victims. So you have to acknowledge the fact that there's some type of trauma happening and there is a victim, but then you have to remove yourself from that trauma. whether it's from that relationship or from watching that trauma. And you have to separate. So you have to realize that, look, I'm in a bad place right now. I got to get out. And then you have to, and some of that trauma may be self-inflicted. When I committed trauma when I would do high-risk investments, because when they would lose, that's trauma to the mind. So I had to take accountability. So there's self-inflicted trauma, and there's trauma others inflict on us. So there's a lot of layers to that. And I do believe to counteract that feeling of overwhelmed emotion, overwhelming pain, we could do something. Some people sedate their trauma with food. Some people sedate their trauma with drugs. No difference. No difference between shooting up heroin and eating a donut. There's a difference, but you understand what I'm saying? The practical core of what you're trying to do is the same. So I do believe that, yes, that's how human nature kind of works. And that's how you have to navigate it. You have to, as an adult, you have to look at the situation, separate yourself from the trauma, not avoid accountability, not place blame where needed, but then you got to separate, you got to heal. And the only way to heal is separation. The only way to heal is separation. The only way to feel joy again is separation. You're not going to heal from trauma if you're still committing trauma. You're not going to heal from gambling if you still gamble, if you still do risky investments. You're not going to heal from a relationship if you still have them in your phone contact and they text you once in a while. You're not going to heal from anything that you're continuing to do. Now, some people can't get away. Like, my mom struggles with food. She's never going to stop eating. So am I going to judge her? No. Look, so I'm saying this without also passing judgment. Because through a level of maturity, I realized that some people just aren't strong enough to get away from the trauma. But I'm also acknowledging how I've gotten away from the trauma. So that's my answer. Good job. Isis, any Halloween stories? I think Halloween's great for creativity. Yeah. But when I see hot girl as a devil, I know what that means. Well, don't forget, that's true. But don't forget, the devil does not come disguised as a devil. The devil comes disguised as an angel. Okay. So what does the devil look like on Halloween? Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is Satan. If you've never seen Satan, you've never seen a Hello Kitty dress up. All right. Complete disaster. Or leopard skin clothing. Oh, that's Satan. Woohoo. Doesn't the big 3, Ford, GM, Chrysler still give pensions? I know today, GM, Google it, GM, which stands for General Motors, offered 18,000 workers a buyout because they wanted to get their salaries off their books and they don't want to pay their pensions. Pensions, 401ks, benefits have all been reformed. When we had the crash in 2006, there was a big reforming. They blamed the unions for the crash in 2006. They didn't blame the fact that they were over leveraged. And they didn't give union bonuses when they tripled their market cap, okay? So go look it up today. GM announced they're going to buy out 18,000 employees because that Motor City heyday, it's over. And so, we've just evolved. We are no longer an industrial era. We're in a technology era. And cars are industrial. So part of that is just part of the times. But as we continue to move to a technology era, there's going to be more and more need for basic income because more and more things are automated and more things are efficient, and there's not a need for a level of mass industry workers. There's just not. We're in a different point in society. So policies have to reflect that we're in a different point in society. We're not in a point in society where you build a hotel with gold sinks. No one does that. People want a hotel where they look in the mirror and there's a touch screen computer. But we have somebody who's thinking we should have a big gold thing. We're not in an industrial era. We're in a technology era. Never forget it. Data Geek. Totally agree with your efficiency thoughts. I journal a lot, and it has helped me see where I'm spending too much time in a day, and it helps me get balance in my life. I believe a journal is wisdom. A digital journal, however you do it, writing reminders in your phone on your calendar so that you have a reminder go off at your phone at 5 o'clock. Whatever you need to remember, write it down and put a reminder in your phone. Good job. Apathy. Yep. Nailed the reality of life once again. Well, thank you. I don't know what I said. Blanton, How? We aren't the same person. Damn, a lot of different people in Boone, North Carolina. I'm Blanton, and Colton is Tom Hanks. I don't know who's who. Who's Trevor the Trucker? But this real name is Colton. I'm totally lost. All I know is I was proud of the video I saw. I don't know who's who, but I got love for everyone in Boone, North Carolina. Good job, Apathy. Very smart move, Colton. Very good idea. Colton's a good guy. I don't know who he is, but he's a good guy. Colton, haha. Yeah, sorry. Just wanted to delete Tom Hanks' account. It's crazy. Next thing I know, he's a Dallas cheerleader, right? That's what happens in life. That's okay. I'm never going to date anyone from YouTube. And Blanton are two different people. I got no idea. You may be a robot. I don't know what's going on. Daddy, say it one more time for me, Sam. Loud and strong. Do you? Do you? You know I ain't got to say that too loud. Good job. I say it all the time at work. As Sammy would say, do you? Love and respect. Thank you very much. Love and respect. You get it. Colton, thanks for the positivity about the resume video. You did a good job. Although, that's Blanton. I'm totally lost. I have some on my channel here as well. It's I don't know what's going on over there in Boone, North Carolina. It's a total disaster. Sorry you're confused on who's who. I'm totally lost. You're probably Donald Trump. You're probably Donald Trump spying on me. Okay, that's what I think. Colton and Blanton are the same. You may be I don't know who you are. You may be J-Lo. Good job. I love you. Data Geek. Luke, I am in the situation and consider standing strong on your next adventure. Because trust me, those managers are everywhere. Oh, I totally agree with that. And if you smile at them, you push further, you will make it. Well, I agree, but it's also love and compassion to Luke. Because, again, everyone isn't as strong as you. And, again, some people who have too much stress at work, instead of dealing with it and showing up the next day, they do drugs, and that's why they can't handle the workforce. I had some people like that in my family, and I mocked them for many years. Now I have more compassion. And not everyone is meant to be in the workforce. I don't care what you think. I've seen real life. Some people would be a disaster in the workforce. I believe in a basic income. I do. And believe me, there's some people that you haven't experienced in life, and I'm not saying this in judgment, but I'm saying it wouldn't be helpful to have them in the workforce. It wouldn't. It'd be counterproductive for them and for you. So I believe in Luke, and all I can say is there's love, and we just got to put one foot in front of the other. Blanton, I've been talking my girlfriend's ear off universal basic income. Such an interesting topic. Well, that's good. Just remember, credibility is your leverage. So you don't want to go crazy about talking about universal basic income and you've never worked or you're not working. So your leverage is, for most people, I work more than they've ever worked. So, and they try to tell me like, you're just asking for giveaways. What have you done for the past? And so what I can tell you is, just like corporations ask for corporate tax reform, you can ask for universal basic income, but you got to have the credibility. So you got to have some, and that's why I said, like, I would never recommend for somebody to get out of college and go right to politics. Get some life experience. You understand what I'm saying? Go out there, take some hits, go through something. You think Luke, who just quit his job because he had a bad manager, if he doesn't experience life, he'll never experience, you have to experience the hits. You have to experience the losses. I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people to go through losses. But what I'm telling you through my own experience, if I didn't experience the hits of life, if I didn't experience the losses, I wouldn't be who I am. I'm just at a point in life where I don't think the losses should ever get to the point where it takes away the dignity of the human race. And I know, not by something I'm not better than anyone, but I know God's given me grace. I'm a little bit stronger than some people. And so for some people, they're not able to get up after certain hits. And it's a disgrace to humankind to just tell everybody, deal with it and get over it and just get up. Some people don't have that strength. And so empathy is at the essence of every good, healthy society. I understand people abuse kindness. I understand you have to be a little bit firm. But if you don't have empathy, you don't have a society. What you have is a tyrant, either government or a tyrant corporate system controlling the masses. And the human race is better than that. And we've shown it. And we can figure it out. We don't need big corporations to figure it out. Okay? A lot of people say we don't need big government to figure it out. Well, guess who's figuring it out right now? Big corporations. You don't need big government, but you got big corporations, and they're calling all the shots. And there's nothing wrong with corporations. But you know what? There's something wrong for somebody working at Walmart when Walmart's making billions of dollars and the person that's working at the store can't even afford basic health care and can't even afford a one-bedroom apartment. There's something wrong with that. That's my opinion. Good job. ISIS. I hope people make good decisions tonight because on Halloween, people go crazy. I've been there. Now, I never really went crazy, but I got caught in a couple things. I remember being in the projects and having an egg war. What's an egg war? Well, actually, it's on Mischief Knife. When you go basically to the store and you get a bunch of eggs and you just throw them at people, and I mean, it's almost like bullets. Not that I recommend that. Not that I'm saying you should do that. But what I'm trying to say is I remember saying, I don't want to do this again. But that's adolescence. That's immaturity. And that's also just part of life being young and growing up. So be careful. Luke, hey Sam, thanks for everything and care, my brother. I appreciate you, Hand Pump. God bless you, always my man. Same to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. ISIS, the world will keep spinning. That's right. If Sam lives out of his car, or if he decides to own land, that's true. Or if I pass away, or when I pass away, we're gonna keep spinning. So just remember that, like, you know. Keep going forward. Good job. Bold Counsel. What's up, Nomad? What's up to you, Bold? I like the name. Luke, have a great night. We love you, Luke. We love you, Luke. I hope you still hear that. And I hope you really understand sincere. We love you. We're proud of you. And it's going to be fine. Put one foot in front of the other, brother. Get some rest. We love you. Jacqueline. Hey, Sam. Peace and love. Same to you. Soviet Dog. Greetings, comrade. Greetings to you, my friend. Thank you. Love and respect. ISIS. In December, I have the opportunity to meet Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders to discuss issues. That's great. ISIS. Any recommendations? No, just be yourself. Observe. Ask questions, observe, and it's a good experience. Good job. Bold Counsel. If the rulers didn't rob both parties, we could have the stuff they constantly argue about. Healthcare enough for all. I agree. Look, both parties are imperfect, but I have to say, look, overall, I vote Democratic because overall, right now, that may change. Barack Obama pushed for universal health care. Bernie Sanders pushing for universal health care. So even though he's independent, Republicans ain't. They dismantling universal health care. So look, I don't care about red, blue, but I'm going to go with who's overall pushing the right agenda for me, in my opinion. So I'm not going to support crony corporate welfare. That's what we got right now. We got corporate welfare. 1% of society is getting richer by the minute. And the policies in the past 24 months reflect that. That's what I think. Snow Dog, give me a lot of dances. Good job. Thank you, Snow Dog. Selling John. Good evening, Sam. Selling John made it to Florida. What's going on? And everyone, Selling John, good to see you. I was thinking about you today. Hang in there with me, Selling John. I love you, man. I know the channel's taking turns. Snow Dog, I'm burnt out inspirational. I hear that. I wonder what the divorce judges, I understand, what the divorce judge will say when he orders me to pay a certain amount and tell him that I'm done. I can't pay anything. I'm checking out the system. Snow Dog, I feel you. I want to share with you what my mother told me years later after the divorce with my father. She said, Sam, one thing I learned is that when you go for divorce and when you go in the system, the lawyers pit you against one another. The lawyers, here's part of the problem in society too, okay? The lawyers didn't want the divorce to settle quickly and easily. Because the lawyers, just like doctors, they get paid to stretch it out, okay? Some lawyers are good, some doctors are good, but they are part of the system that is hurting this country, okay? And so there's a divorce. And she said they basically made it harder than it had to be. And my mom and my father, more so my mom, they were at a point where they just wanted it to end. They wanted to figure out a settlement and get the hell out of there. And they had to kind of like go around the lawyers and just say, look, let's just agree upon this, because the only thing that's happened is the lawyers are getting rich and things are getting worse for us and our family. Now, I'm paraphrasing, and there's different intricals, different details, and there's different details with your situation. What I can tell you is remember what I just said. And I do know a couple people that wanted, and some did drop out of society after they got a divorce. There's nothing wrong with totally changing your life and totally simplifying your life. I know a guy who stopped living in a house and lived out of his RV ever since he got divorced. That's fine. But you can't stop being in society, because if you let yourself go and if you give up, this world will keep kicking you. You're still going to need to work for an income. You're still going to need to provide basic services for yourself. So I understand you're hurt. I understand right now the system's fucking you and you're going through a lot. And I do think you should totally reform your life. And you should never go back to the person you once were and how you lived. But what I'm here to tell you, based on my experience, if you just stop living and if you give up and if you stop engaging society, it will be you who suffers more than your ex-wife. So, again, I know you're in a tough situation. I'm praying for you, brother. But that's what I would share. Daddy Geek. I keep a journal on my projects and accomplishments for every annual review as well. Good job. It truly helps, especially in the IT industry. I am both a software and network engineer, so the competition is huge. Good job. Me and you on the same page. ISIS, a lot of horror movies tonight, Sam. I know, I used to like Friday the 13th, but I always say it. I grew up with a guy that he loved horror movies, and he had a lot of mental problems as he got older and older. Now, I mean, obviously, there's so many different parts of that. So I'm just saying horror movies and like reproductions, there's nothing wrong with watching those things, but if you're fixated on those things, that's your mind. Like even politics and stuff, I talk that stuff, I look at stuff, but I'm not like, I still go to the beach, I still like watch porn, I still do like, I'm not like sitting there masturbating to a Donald Trump poster. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting there masturbating to a Bernie Sanders poster. Like, I'm living my life, I'm masturbating to free porn, like MILF porn. So you have to be well balanced in life. Everyone has their own different balance. But I mean, I make videos about different things. I mean, it depends what cycle you catch me on. But like I talk about, you know, this is all part of life. You know, politics part of, like, I'm not one of those people who pacify you and say, on this channel, we are not going to talk about religion and we're not going to talk about politics. That's a huge part of life. Why would you not talk about that? That's like a big, now, but that's not the only part of life. You understand what I'm saying? Like, again, like, I'm not like waking up and protesting society and not going to work and not like working out and not eating. Like, I'm still engaged in society. I'm just speaking up against things that I see that are wrong, but I'm still living. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a prepper. Preppers should be ashamed of themselves. Especially preppers that don't vote for universal health care. They're checking out of society and they're watching society downfall. Shame on them. Good job. Florida Yelda. Hey, Sam. Good evening. Good evening to you. Woohoo. Went to Taco Bell today. They started the first rounds of computer cashiers. Yeah, remember when they said if we increase the minimum wage, computers will take over the job? Guess what? McDonald's, Taco Bell, Burger King, they've been implementing computer checkout systems for a decade. And minimum wage is still the same it was a decade ago. It's a complete corporation welfare system. Corporate welfare. Corporate welfare. And what do you have? Nothing. Good job. Swipe your card and comes up. Time to replace cash registers. And I'm not mad at that. Computerize and automate and robotize everything. Give a basic income, though, and basic health care. I'm fine with eliminated jobs, and those jobs are getting eliminated no matter what. Let me tell you, I know, I'm in IT. Let me tell you, they're getting eliminated. And what I could tell you is just give a basic income, basic health care, and then all we got to do is marry a robot and keep her oiled up. Good job. Colton, sorry for the confusion. Colton, I love you. I love Boone. I love Blanton. I love Donald Trump. I love Bernie Sanders. I got love for everyone. Good job. Arab, listening to Sam's wisdom in stealth mode in New Jersey. Good job. There's a lot of places to go stealth. In my Grand Cherokee. Good job. This is much easier than I thought. I'm happy for you. I knew this long ago. Arab, I'm happy for you, brother. I'm proud of you. Arab, my work is predominantly women, okay? When I try to be friendly with them, it is a matter before they get comfortable with me and they want, including some level of disrespect. Yeah, well, what I've learned in life is, on average, if you give respect, you get respect. If you give love, you get love. On average, there's exceptions and there's time you got to be firm, but overall, now sometimes no matter how much love, no matter how much respect, you're not going to vibe with certain people. That's okay, as long as what you're doing is not hurting people. But at the end of the day, give love, get love. Give respect, get respect. On average. Good job. Daddy, much love and respect to Luke. We love Luke. And I mean, that was something better is coming your way. Good job. I will keep you in my prayers. Yes, I believe in the power of prayer. I know that something great is a-coming. Praise the Lord, says the choir. Aaron, Sam, I hope all's well. I just got made a little over $10 doing absolutely nothing at my job. Okay. Sometimes I get paid to stand around. It's crazy. Believe me, if you think you're getting paid a lot to doing nothing, think about the corporate executives. They're sitting there on some remote island or in their second house on the beach, and they're watching stock tickers all day, and they're watching free porn, and you're $10 an hour. They trade that in 1 millisecond. And so don't feel guilty. Good job, but work hard. James, you make a good point, Sam, about being young to get that feeling. Like you can get away, run away, emoji, with anything without consequences. Let me read that one more time. You make a good point about being young. You get that feeling that you can get away with anything out of consequences. Yeah, I mean, there's that saying, even my father used to say, when you're young, you feel like you're bulletproof. When you're young and you're healthy, you feel like, you don't need healthcare. But if you break your finger, if you fall, if a tragedy happens, if all of a sudden you're diagnosed with something, then you will experience empathy, okay? You won't experience empathy until you're on a hospital bed. And guess what? The company that loved you in a corporate society, in a capitalist society, if you cannot help your company make a profit, you're no longer needed. And now you have to go on government disability, okay? Or private company disability. And you're going to have to fight for it. Never forget it. I've seen it happen. James, Sam, we were at my friend's house last night and we saw the course of 15 minutes and 12 politician commercials, and it was back and forth. We're getting ready for the midterm elections. Look, no politician is perfect, but I do believe who you vote for matters and policy matters. Let me tell you something. There was a difference between President Clinton and President Bush, between President Barack Obama and President Trump. Now, different people feel different ways, but in my opinion, I thought society was better under Clinton and under Barack Obama. It did make a difference. Some people disagree. I don't care. I have my own opinion. You have your own opinion. You want a YouTube channel and you want to talk about how great you think Trump and Bush were? Then you make your own channel. And there's plenty of channels out there. A lot of times there's more conservative channels than liberal or socialist channels. And they say they're the minority. We're the last conservatives. Rush Limbaugh, the Hannitys of the world. They're some of the most mainstream media in the world. And they keep complaining, we're the only voices out there. Give me a break. Stop being little babies. Get over yourself. Your generation's over. Ice T says, stay strong while traveling. Thank you. May West, thank you. Hey, Sam. Hey, May West. Hey, Matt. Marriage is a disaster. I don't understand why some people do it. Well, I understand. Everyone is different. Remember that. So some people really value family and they really have a passion for children. So we shouldn't say that they're wrong for getting married or having children. They're not. It's a lot of work, but some people, that's their calling. What we should say is if you do decide to have a family, you should be able to have some dignity and some basic services that you can actually spend time with your family rather than working your whole life and you don't see most of your family. You see your coworkers more than your family. I think that's a national disgrace, okay? But for the rich people, they see their family more than they see their coworkers. Never forget it. Good job. James, separate the real from the fake. Separate the wheat from the chaff. I agree with that. Michael, two-part system is an illusion. Everything's an illusion. Corporations are an illusion, okay? Debt, issuing a bond on the publicly traded markets, that's an illusion, okay? You know, Amazon for decades didn't make a profit. Tesla didn't make a profit. Tesla got a corporate bail. Tesla got a government bailout, then made $80,000 automobiles, and then now all they're driven by profit. But they wouldn't even be around if it wasn't for a government bailout. Everything in life is an illusion. Everything in life is an illusion. So that's part of life. It's really one of the top. Corporations will give money to both. That's true. Whoever will do their bidding. That's true. That's true. I agree with that. Good job, Cedric. Right, Dan. No more traditional couples. No more offspring. Man, and the robots for the future. I can't wait. Somebody sign me up for Robot Future right away. Good job. The stranger. I don't like small cars or real big women. Okay. But somehow I always find myself in them. I'm not mad at that. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. James. Sam, I think I have bipolar. Sometimes I feel okay. Sometimes I feel dead. I want to give things another chance, but feel like it's a trick to be let down again. Well, I'm not going to pander to you, James. In this world, you will get let down again. I think accepting that, being a realist but an optimist is the best answer I have, and that's what I apply to my life. So I'm not going to give you advice that I don't apply to my life. I know that life has ups and downs, but you can't live in a place that I know I'm going to get let down again, so I'm not going to live. But if you're gambling and you know you're going to get let down, you should stop gambling. If you're dating a girl with Hello Kitty, like, you know you're going to get let down, get the hell away from her. But if like you're just living your life and you're trying to stay away from gambling and Hello Kitty, then keep living, because then you're just going to experience just like the natural rhythm of life, ups and downs. But if you're doing something destructive, then get the hell away from that, because then you're going right down a cliff for no reason. So that's my advice. On that note, I think I'll end. I love you, James. Thank you, everyone who left a comment. I ask that you please give a thumb up. If the video helped you, please share the video. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. What I can tell you is do the best you can in this world. And if you keep pushing forward, put one foot in front of the other, you will feel joy again. And you will feel a variety of things again, good and bad. And love to you also, James. And that's it. Peace.